said, actually, no, I won't. So what happened? I was on one of my group chats giggling because people were posting a lot of crazy things. She says, in fact, it was a Friday night and we declared it Red Day on the page. So we were sharing extreme adult content. My husband was lying down and watching television. I think my giggles irritated him. He snatched the phone from me and I pounced on him. Okay, my guest has just joined me. So just start the story from the top. We'll just call the lady Amma for easy conversation. So she says, my husband has asked me to exit all my social media groups. He is very livid and even wants me to shut down my social media accounts for a while. I am not sure I want to do any such thing. Then she says, actually, no, I won't. So what happened? I was on one of my group chats giggling because people were posting a lot of crazy things. In fact, it was a Friday night and we declared it Red Day on the page, so we were sharing extreme adult content. I think my giggles irritated him. He snatched the phone from me and I pounced on him. Honestly, we struggled over the phone for a bit, but I think my reaction made him suspect something sinister. He rushed to our bedroom and locked the door behind him. In about 15 minutes, he came out, gave me my phone and asked me to write there, exit the groups, the group and all other groups, except my work, church and family group. I simply refused. His argument is that I do not need those groups. He asked what benefits I stand to derive from the groups. He said a lot of unprintable things, insulted that particular group I was chatting on, and everyone on the group. Even though there are very notable people in that group. He thinks the group is influencing me negatively and he's very upset. I also asked to see his group chats. Then we can both exit all our groups except the ones he thinks he deems fit. But that annoyed him the more. And he says that I am vulnerable, but he is not. He is a man and can manage these things better. I must admit, the things we shared were quite extreme. But we are all adults. There are both married and unmarried people on the group. She says, Adam, the chats keep me sane and occupied. They're humorous chats. They help you release tension. And that particular group is a fun group. I know a lot has happened between people in some of my groups, even married people. But I am married and will not do any such thing. He's not talking to me for as long as I remain adamant about staying in those poisonous groups he calls them. I feel like he wants to manipulate me. I do not like what is happening between us, but I also do not want to exit the groups. What are your thoughts? 0244340437 is my WhatsApp line. We will definitely activate the phone line, and that's on 0302216541. Now, yeah, you can reach us on, what's the name of that one? Telegram. And then you can post on our social media pages as well. There's a conversation ongoing on my page as well. You can join that. Adam Night Tea. What do you think?
to grow. Yum, yum, yum.
My beauty starts from my skin, but that isn't where it ends.
Lux keeps my skin soft and fragrant, and I keep my life full and vibrant.
Like my beauty, I'm more than you can see. Just like my known Lux fragrance with a modern twist of floral beauty oil for soft, fragrant skin. Use Lux
for soft, fragrant skin. Come to a serene atmosphere. Beautiful green grass. Spacious and conducive just for your social and corporate events, weddings, parties, anniversaries, get-togethers, funerals, retreats, and more. Get in touch with Royal Dazzle Event Center today. Locate us between Ashaliboche School Junction and Trasacco, precisely Major last stop. Follow us on social media, Facebook at Royal Dazzle Event Center, on Instagram at Rodaz_Event Center. You can also send an email to royaldazzleeventcenter@gmail.com or call +233 246 202 144 or +233 558 148 585. Royal Dazzle Event Center, creating memories and more. Memories and more.
Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're just joining us, this is Home Affairs on Joy 99.7 FM. We're talking about social media groups and how this can affect your marriage. We have a case we're dealing with, and then I have, a few questions to ask, and then we have experiences to share. But at the end of the day, we want to find out how we can remain sane, even if we have to be part of these groups. That's why I'm asking you, go deep into yourself. There are people who belong to 30 groups, 40 groups. I wonder how you keep up. The small I belong to, I'm unable to keep up. And you have all those groups. If you're married, you have your family to take care of. You have your children, your husband, your extended family. You have, even your social life, apart from social media, to take care of. I wonder how we keep up with all of these things. And then that's the case we have. So this young woman, we say we're calling her Amma. She belongs to a group. And the day that brought about this issue, they said the name that they were Red Friday. And they were sharing extreme adult content on the page. She was giggling. She was also sharing some, wherever from. Then her husband became very suspicious, snatched the phone, and she said she pounced on. I pounced on him and was struggling with him so he doesn't see anything on the phone. But then, of course, the man overpowered her, took the phone to the room, and then, made time to go through everything. And his conclusion was that just exit the groups, that's it. And she feels like, okay, I know, but I am an adult. Are you also going to exit yours so that we all remain on the groups that you think it's okay for us to be on, the family group, our work groups, and then which one again, the church groups. The man says that he is a man, he's able to handle these things, but she is a woman and could be vulnerable. And she thinks that, okay, all my husband is trying to do is manipulate me. She doesn't like the fact that husband is angry, not talking to her. And the husband says that for as long as you remain adamant, for as long as you remain on those groups, this is what it's going to be. She She says she doesn't like what's happening between them, but she also doesn't want to exit the groups. After all, it's just a group and we're just having fun. She says the groups keep her sane, it's fun to be there, you meet people and all of those things. So why should I just leave? My guests are seated. PG Sebastian. PG, good morning to you. You're welcome.
Thank you.
PG, how many groups do you belong to?
I honestly can't count them. So have a special number for that group.
Yes, you.
So you just put me there, and I just I just use that number to be on those pages, and maybe like for a whole month or a whole week I have not looked. I just open all of them and I close them. And you can't keep up.
You can't keep up. So why do we agree to be there?
You see, some of the pages, the motive for setting them up may not necessarily be bad. Okay. And I wouldn't say for the groups that I belong to, I wouldn't say along the line it gets corrupted. No, they don't get corrupted. It's just the amount of traffic, that comes there. Is amount of traffic, because you're in a group of say 200 people. Everybody's posting something, and sometimes one person posts something that's quite interesting and engaging. So like you have a lot of people, jumping on it. So assuming I'm in say 20 groups, and each day you have like, let's say 50 on the average post from that, you can do the math, and it's just too much for me. Okay, so I have a particular number. I mean, all the chats go there, and then I have another number for my regular WhatsApp life. So I don't get frustrated, because sometimes you are.
It can be frustrating.
It can. Otherwise, you have to force your phone always to be on silence, because then it's always beeping, it's always distracting. I can't go through that. I can't deal with that.
So this man really is not wrong to be having the issues he's having with his wife, right?
Oh yes. I mean, I think that there's a fair point there.
Okay.
We just have to navigate
just hold
it
on
well.
to your thoughts.
Yeah.
Then we'll come there. I'll skip you. Let me go to Kobe. Samedi, good morning to you.
Good morning to you. Good
How
morning
many
to our
groups
listeners.
do you also belong to?
I don't belong to too many groups. I'm not too much of a social person, so
Okay, but about like 5, 10.
no less than 10.
Hey, wow. That's nice. And then we have a new family member.
Yes.
Abela Majis, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Adam.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Looks like
too?
you're the CEO of this conversation.
Oh,
today.
boy. Because PG is talking about few groups that he's.
Abena, introduce yourself properly. to us.
Okay. Oh my goodness.
These people, they are old ones.
Okay, I am Abena Majis, aka Manoki Kame.
Wow.
PG was talking about groups that he's in that seldom goes to. I'm also in groups myself, but I've also created groups myself, about 10.
You've created about 10 groups.
Yeah, and I'm looking at, let's say, a combined membership of almost 1 million. So, yeah.
She controls social media to a good extent.
She's an influencer.
So I said she's the CEO of this.
She's an influencer.
So, basically, a lot of the bashing, I'm going to receive it today because some of these things have happened in the groups that I'm in.
Oh.
Yes. And with the 1 million membership, that was for Facebook.
Yeah,
So I haven't
WhatsApp
even added WhatsApp.
Eh.
Yes. So I know I'm in big trouble. That one, yeah.
Sorry, you and I are kids.
Adam, I along the line.
Sometimes it's good to catch this.
Adam, along the line, I created. This was in 2014. When all these groups started coming up, and then we thought that we could use our influence to set up groups and groom young people, and then all that. 2014. So I started 3 pages. Okay, so one was for singles, one was for married couple, and one was for the two. So singles, we are discussing strictly single stuff. Married couples, we are discussing strictly married couple stuff. And then the amalgamation was just so that, we could share ideas and then all that. The middle one, the amalgamated one, suddenly took a mind of its own. I quickly shut it down.
Ow.
Then the single one also started getting a bit corrupted. I shut it down. Then I was left with the married one. Along the line, I was getting issues, so I also had to shut it down.
Hey!
That's me. When I start something and I put a purpose to it, and I realized along the line the purpose is getting corrupted. And we are all adults, so you can't cane people into conformity.
That's it.
You can't force people. Then
No,
I
you
shut it
just
down.
block them.
So once I shut it down, then but the funny thing is that you shut it down, and because they would have already bonded and started a relationship,
Oh,
yeah.
they go and
Yeah, the
recreate
splinter
it.
groups. Always,
Yes,
always.
so the first one, it still exists and it is still popping. They went to create it again, So that was when I lost all interest in creating groups.
Okay.
So I don't have any group
Okay.
that I have created. Yeah.
I want us to deal with this issue first about Amma Lin. Let me start with your copy. You haven't said much this morning yet. What
I
do you
think
make of her issue?
I think she has to choose her priorities. What is
Okay.
important to
To
her?
her.
Yes. It's either your marriage or social media.
Mm.
Choose one.
That's it.
That's it.
You can't have a middle
No, there's no
ground.
middle ground here.
Okay, but her husband is on groups as well.
Mhm.
She's not asking to see which groups he is on,
Mhm.
what kinds of conversations he is having,
Mhm.
who he is bonding with, and I mean he is trying to draw very clear lines. You can be on your work group, your church group, and then your family group.
Mhm.
Apart from that, all other groups should go up, and even suggesting that she shuts down her social media accounts for a bit.
So you see,
Isn't
If-
he being
if-
manipulative?
if he hadn't complained and she had not is not complaining about his, we won't call it an issue. As soon as one person has an issue, then you need to pay attention to the merits of the issue.
Okay.
And if he says that, and especially when he took her phone, went into the room, looked through the pages and saw what was going on there, he says, shut them down, shut them down. The reason is simple. And we are guys. Me, I went to a school where we had bad boys. In fact, my dorm was the baddest. That is where they rolled the wheel. I have seen bad things happen. So when I see the signs, I know. And sometimes you can tell the end from the beginning.
Yeah.
So if you know all these things and you see the telltale signs, shut it down. It is either you choose that social media or you are choosing your marriage. Simple.
Wow. Okay, let me come to Kobe and then we'll come to the CEO.
Okay, so you come to PG.
Yeah, PG, sorry.
Okay, so Adam, I think that
Shut it down. he says.
it's not a very simple thing.
Okay.
It is not. See, social groupings is another aspect or an addendum or an appendix to our existing real life social groupings. Okay? So I'm in a group of, say, couples. Don't we have couples groups in churches?
We do.
Don't we have couples
Yeah,
groups
we
in
do.
various societies?
We do.
Exactly. But you see, you find yourself in a situation where you live in Accra. There's a lot of traffic, there's a lot of stress. So you don't have the physical time to belong to some of these groups. Social media comes in as an alternative. Okay. Then again, these physical social groups can be very restricting. You are here, you are forced to be in the group with only people in Accra. And sometimes it's not just in Accra, but in a particular community within Accra. But then social media, by its virtual nature, allows people from different parts of the world to be part of the group. Okay, so it's an extension of a social conversation that we are having. So for some people, they see it as an extension of their day-to-day life. Somebody will tell you that if you pick a fight with me on Facebook, it's not just a fight on Facebook. It's a real-life fight.
Exactly.
Because after Facebook insult, when I meet you out there in public, the fight continues.
continue.
So, people, there is this interconnectivity between the two that is so murky on its boundaries that, for people, it's the same thing. So to tell somebody to exit these pages, it's indirectly of saying that you can't go to Mbaku again. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do this. You can't do that. You understand? So, and that's how people look at it.
But he's afraid of the dangers.
Exactly. So that is where a proper conversation needs to come up. And I'm sure that along the line, we'll get there.
But you can't go to the Mbeko is something which is real life.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
You see, as soon as it gets to a point where whatever social activity is taking up so much of your time
Right.
that you are beginning to neglect your responsibilities and your obligations as a spouse, it is a
It
problem.
becomes a corruption. Yeah.
Great. Now let me come to you, Abna.
Okay, I'm looking at various aspects of this. The first one, I would like to applaud him for not doing one thing. He had her phone for 15 minutes. All he had to do was to leave the groups she was in because the phone was with him. That's all that he had to do. He
Just
could have
exit.
left, he could have just exited. And then when you are leaving a
Okay.
group,
Yeah.
there is a leave permanently option so that nobody can re-add you.
I see.
So he could have done
Done
that,
that.
which he didn't. So he's
I'm
gained
sure
my
he
respect
wanted to-
there
Exactly.
because he wanted to give her that choice
To do
to
it.
leave herself.
Yeah.
Now, another thing too is the fact that he didn't know that she was in that particular group. I know certain groups like that you will get both partners there.
And
Some
there are some too you can't. You two
yeah,
can't be there.
exactly. You two
There.
can't be there. Though you might find the spouse there because it's either they will create another account and then join the group in order to spy on their spouse, or they will have oh yeah,
Why
it
do we
happens.
complicate our lives so much?
Or they'll set spies within that group. So then, screenshots will be sent to them. It has happened in groups that I've formed, unfortunately. So I know all about that. Exactly. So
Yeah, Mampo.
I tell you.
now I am looking at the fact that she was giggling, having fun, and then all that, all that, whilst her husband was there. So she was on the phone. I don't know if the husband was also on the phone.
No, he was watching TV.
So he was watching TV, but then she wasn't. And I always say that what you can do when you are dating, because you're dating, you don't know if indeed you'll get married or not. Those things, you can't do them when you're married.
Okay.
There should always be a limit to the number of times, the number of groups, the number of hours you can spend on social media when you are married. And that is a conversation that we should have, that I want to have with my fellow women. When you are married, you can't
There
can't
are certain
behave
things
You can't
the
live
way
like
that
you are not
you
married.
want. Exactly, you understand. Because at that time, fine, he's watching TV. You are not watching TV, you are doing something. Now, you have to know that these groups, they are very, very addictive. And I know sometimes I can post a whole lot in the groups, and then somebody could end up commenting on all
of
my
them.
posts. I could look at the number of hours the person has spent, probably about 2-3 hours, and then ask myself, okay, I'm doing this. I get my money through this because the social media groups help with brand awareness. If you're marketing for something, you can get money from there. But then somebody is whiling away their time there. So I'm looking at the fact that she wasn't doing anything but was spending her time in that particular group. What was she doing in that group as a married woman? What were the things that she said? Because there are married women who will come into these groups and they'll be talking about the fact that my husband doesn't satisfy me.
Hey,
My husband does this. My husband doesn't do this.
in the group.
And then you have no idea.
Yes.
You
Yes.
have no idea.
We'll have
They say ignorance
some
is bliss.
yeah. There are some who go to the extent of even comparing exes with their husbands and then all that, and it happens so many times in such groups. Now it's basically cathartic because some of them, they are issues they are unable to address with their husbands.
Thank you.
So because of that, they come into the groups, and then usually they're like, if my husband gets to know that I'm talking about this, I'll be in big trouble. But it's something that is really worrying me.
But there must be somebody there who probably knows your husband.
Usually, sometimes that's how it is. I remember I created a secret group, and this woman came to tell me that, she just realized that the person who has been, one of the new members knows the husband. So can I remove the person because she's scared,
Screenshots of fly.
Exactly, you understand. Now there are the anonymous features whereby you can send me stories to post on your behalf. But then usually there will be something in the story.
Let me give you up.
Which is unique.
Exactly, you understand. So the person will know that no, you understand. So as soon as you realize that these are conversations that if your husband gets to know will bring issues. If I say something, my goodness, people will tell me that.
Please go ahead.
So I will say it. PG says I shouldn't say it.
No, we want to like PG. Don't do that.
No, we are protecting our trade.
Exactly. So
The point I was trying to make is that listening to Abna, she is professionally a social media influencer.
Yes.
She is a digital manager who is driving the digital agenda of brands. It means when she's on social media, she's working.
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly.
Others forget that she's working.
Exactly.
Yes.
And they take that one as fun and spend their whole life
Yeah,
there.
this is what it is.
And
The
it
fun
is
is
this-
her job.
It
Yeah.
is
Well,
destroying.
yeah, basically.
No, it is destroying your home. Which one is more important for her? I don't know about her status, whether she's married or not. But assuming she is, the husband knows that is her job. So when she's on social media, she's
She's
working. So he would understand that she is working. This is where she makes her daily bread. Just like I go to work 8 to 5, she is on 12 hours non-stop.
Our WhatsApp console is breaking down.
And people cannot differentiate between
Yes.
dates.
But Adam, you see, there is a line in all of this that I find quite interesting. She says that it keeps her sane.
Yeah.
Yes.
It
has
keeps
a
her
lot of
sane,
mean that-
and it helps her distress. For me, that is an insight, a little window into probably what goes on in her home.
Yeah.
Okay, because you see, the thing is, if you are in a cinema enjoying a movie, chances are that you never touch your phone. So if you're in a cinema and the entire time you're holding your phone, it means the movie is boring. Okay, so now if you're in home,
Well, sometimes you're just addicted to your phone.
well, Adam, that's true. But you see, addictions may be there, may be strong, but there are certain things, if you put them in a proper way, you realize that it may end up probably competing with your addiction to a point that
Exactly.
it will take leverage. Okay,
Yes.
so if you are in a home and you have a good relationship with your spouse, and then you're all excited and everything, one, either your husband will be aware of this Red Friday thing, so then your husband will tell you that, hey, is it that your Red Friday? Let me see. I know a lot of couples will.
They do
Even
that.
though,
A lot
even
of
though
them
they are
do
not
that.
in the same group, they just actually, one is in the group vicariously through the wife
Yeah.
or through the husband or whoever is in the group, but they're actually not physically present in the group. Once your spouse is not aware of some of these groups, it means that there isn't that friendship, that connection that allows you to open up. Okay, people are in groups that their spouses are not there, but their spouses are aware they are in those groups, and there is a level of benefit.
Because I was going to ask why you would want to be in a group without your partner's knowledge.
No, exactly.
It,
You understand?
it depends
And then-
on the type of group, because for example, with this one, she was talking about Red Friday, sexually explicit and all that. Now, I haven't created such groups, but then I've been in similar groups, and I remember that there was a day that there was chest feed
No, that's not the
and all
purpose
that.
of the group.
Okay.
They have something else.
Yeah, I
Let the
understand
talk
all
about
that.
Friday is themed.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
I understand all that, but I wanted to build,
Yes,
you know,
please
from
go
a
on.
point. So there was a day that, chest fees. So guys were sending photos of their chest, and women were sending photos of okay. And there was an issue whereby
Like, is it
screenshots
pictures they're curling from places and put it on themselves.
No.
know themselves.
Ejo.
So then there was an issue as to why ladies will have to do that, burying everything, and the screenshot went all over the place. And then it made me understand so much about something that if you're a married woman and then you are in a group that promotes, or whereby anybody can get up and then say that, okay, let's have this thing, and you take part in it, then it means that there is a disconnect when it comes to your sexual life at home.
At home, exactly.
Because if you are able to have all that fun with your spouse, you
Why
see
bring
what
it on
others
social
are doing,
media?
and you be like, okay,
Exactly.
all right.
So that was the point I was driving. I was driving at. You
Yeah.
understand? If they had the proper relationship at home, I'm sure. Because why would you say keeps me sane? Why? So without that, you are not sane at home.
Exactly.
You understand? You should build that relationship with your spouse. That when they are around, it's easier for you to put the social media thing aside, like, talk, have fun. And the guy was watching TV. Chances are that about 90% of the time when they're home in the evening, the guy's probably watching TV
And then
or probably
she's
not
on-
talking, and the girl is bored. And you see, sometimes we also need to understand the personalities of the people involved. If you're dealing with somebody, and for me, everything goes to personality and temperament. If you're dealing with
Yeah.
somebody who is a sanguine, they are bubbly.
They are social people.
They are bubbly. They are butterflies. They can't sit at one place. And then I'm married to a melancholic or a phlegmatic. He's just always there, like he gives you two
lines and
two
then
lines of
quiet.
answers and
Anytime.
everything. You want to have an intellectually stimulating conversation, and he just comes with 1 or 2 lines, and then he's gone. So then you are
Those
there.
one
You
or
are,
two lines could be very deep.
it could be very deep, but probably that's not what you want. You don't want to think. You just
You
want the
wanna
conversation
talk.
to flow. You understand?
Someone sent a message
you
to that
know.
effect. Says, Adam, I think this couple have deeper
issues, exactly.
I think the man is only worried about the woman, about the fact that the woman may be spending more time on the phone and not with him, and the fact that she now derives her happiness from there. Maybe that's what is irritating him. They should just talk heartily about this and begin to spend time together. Bibia very fine. Maybe she should add them out to the group.
Oh,
that
no.
he can learn about some of the things that makes her giggle that much.
No, adding him to the group wouldn't help, because now should he go to the group and then search her name, he's going to have
see all her
all the
posts
posts and comments
made.
that she's made, and if she spoke
Yes.
about him in any way, he's going to
can be-
know.
yes,
So the
invasion of
best thing
privacy.
is no, he shouldn't be added to the group.
But so do you agree that she should exit the group as well?
Okay, now exiting the group because right now he's mad and all that. Let's look at the focus of the group. If it is something that he thinks it's okay, let's say with this corporate
The one I was
group that you are talking about, and it's if it's promoting her business in any way, then fine, but she should let him understand that on these particular days, perhaps the Fridays or something, I wouldn't be in the group. With that one, then you're compromising. But then if he insists, then she should probably leave the group in order to maintain
her marriage.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, that one there, I believe
You
we'll
can't-
all agree
yes,
here.
Yes.
Yes.
You can't compromise on that.
Hey, Sanji, hey.
Then these groups can be very, very, very interesting. And you see,
Very.
the thing is that, like the Bible says, as a man thinks, so
So
he
is he.
is. And the kind of things that you say, you see, human beings, sometimes we think people are dumb, but people are not dumb. People are very smart, and predators have a way of selecting their prey. So, and smart people have a way of picking the vulnerable people in the group. So you start making certain posts and everything. Then they realize that in fancy, as they say,
Ekwandaho.
Ekwandaho. Because you would be making certain funny remarks that shows that you are amenable to certain things. So then the vulnerable ones start picking you up. Then they start chatting.
And they
Sorry,
always-
my
And the
predators.
predator,
And
they
then
deliberately throw the bait.
Exactly.
Exactly.
They deliberately throw the
Exactly.
bait.
So the next
So they
thing they
throw
come
it in.
inbox or they
Exactly.
come to your private mail,
Exactly.
and then the conversation
Yeah.
graduates from there,
Uh-huh.
and it quickly escalates.
The PMs.
Yeah.
Yes, it quickly escalates, and before you know, something that I said, probably carelessly, comes up in a private conversation. The person is asking, so,
Janet
oh, really?
Usudapa, good morning. And the Savannah Safari Group, good morning to you. I'm waiting for your PM.
So you see, I don't know why, but people are not security conscious.
Yep.
WhatsApp group is more closed a network. Facebook is a very open
Yep.
system. What people don't realize is that when you make an application to an embassy, for example, for them to know whether you are radicalized or not, they go to your social media pages to
Yep.
see what you write there. It gives them an idea of what you think about or what your inclination
Kobe,
is.
then you are in trouble.
So
Do you know the things he writes on Facebook?
Sorry.
So he doesn't
see,
use
I
his
don't
name.
belong to any group on Facebook.
Yesterday, I was trying to remember your ID on Facebook.
Ah,
It didn't come.
that's old one. I've stopped using it. I used it for a season.
Right.
Hey!
I used it for a season.
Yeah.
So you see, if you know that this that you are going to say is going to be there,
Yeah.
and the internet doesn't sleep,
Doesn't lie.
it doesn't
Yeah.
forget. So today you think you are maybe 26, you are 28, you are young, so you are having fun, and you are sharing these pictures and you are all this explicit stuff. you going to be proud of this when you are 40 years and your children see all these things online? What explanation are you going to give to them? And when they begin to do similar things and you have made those mistakes before, so you know what is going to happen to them, how do you tell them that this is not good?
Yeah, exactly.
Because they will tell you that, but you were also doing the same thing in your time. Let me do mine.
But I also want to find out from you, Abna, the secret groups. When you talk about secret groups, how secret are these groups? Yesterday, somebody was telling me that one of your groups, you will actually have to fill a form for you to be vetted.
Yes.
Before being added to
Yeah,
the
it's
group.
very important. Yeah, but you see, the thing is, they are secret because somebody has to add you to the group. You can't search and then find the group yourself. But they are not so secret because anybody can take a screenshot of what you posted in the group and then send the screenshot somewhere. Or somebody holding the phone with another person beside them can just read what you've posted in the group. So they are not as secret as we would say they are secret. Now, I have a group for singles, almost 50,000, and a lot of my married, ladies bash me that I don't want to add them. The reason why I don't want to add them is that when you're single, there are so many things that you can do. For example, recently I started pairing them, and it was just pairing for friendship, which turned out a certain way.
Who are you pairing? Men to women or women to women? How are you pairing?
Men to women.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's matchmaking.
Yeah, I'm a matchmaker, so to speak.
Hey.
Yeah, but then it was basically just for friendship. And now some of them took it seriously that, okay, instead of just friendship, I'm
Were you
hoping that
pairing-
it goes
I mean, it could be that you're pairing a married man to a single person and all that, or you're just pairing singles.
singles.
Okay.
You understand? Now, there are some people that I might not know are married. Yeah. And then these people, they sneak into groups because they want to know what is going on there. Some of them are predators, some of them aren't. Now, I look at the fact that if a married woman comes there, sometimes we have very, very interesting topics. And these are topics that are basically to promote, good relationship, etc. And you definitely get some people passing negative comments, especially about their partners. Now, imagine if a married woman were to say, so I'm adding to what PG was saying. Imagine if a married woman were to say that, okay, my husband doesn't do X, Y, Z. Then you get a single guy come out and say that if you were my woman,
Dude, you'll be surprised.
you
Then
understand?
You'll be finished.
Then quickly goes into
Exactly.
private
You are completely
Exactly.
finished.
Now, these are in the groups that you do not have any sexually explicit, content there, but then it does happen. Always. Basically, in any group, no matter how business focused it is, there is always that social aspect that becomes part of it. Because some people will come in and say that, well, I'm not married, so I'm hoping to meet my spouse here. Well, I'm not married, I'm hoping to meet my next boyfriend or girlfriend here. So it comes back to the first thing that I said, that when you are married, the things that you were doing when you were single, you can't do them again. Now, let me add this to my married sisters. There are so many groups that you can be in. You don't need to be in particular groups if you know that they are going to affect your relationship with your husband. Because just as you asked me about these
But
secret
that's
groups,
where she is having the fun. If you belong to
She's-
a group where all they talk about is what cry.
No, I can give you,
there are
an
lots.
example. There is a group that is my old school mates.
Right.
Okay, I formed it. I think it's the only group I have formed
okay.
because I had to. We came out of school in '97,
Right.
and we hadn't met ourselves in a long while.
Okay.
So one of us passed on, and we needed to communicate.
Right.
So I formed it, brought us together, and got that. Find everyone and let's come together. Let's see how we organize ourselves for this. That's how we started. So every now and then we share stuff. We chat political, professional stuff. Then once in a while, someone would throw in something. One day he threw in something which was a bit explicit, and he had done it for a few times, and nobody had commented.
Yeah.
Then one person who is now a reverend, came on to say that, you know what, I don't like this.
Right.
It is not right for this place, blah, 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 blah. And we were all like, okay, we all know it's not right, but we felt nobody's a kid here.
Right.
So you can't really chastise him.
Right.
If I see it and I think this one is not tasty, I just delete it. So if it drops on your phone and you don't want to delete it.
Sadly.
But we told him that, listen, you should also understand that not everybody is into these things. So you can manage it amongst yourself. If it becomes a platform where profanity is being shared and distributed, this is where our Christian life and our social life should not be different.
Yeah.
They are connected. You should be able to decide that this
Be
doesn't
who you
help.
are across board.
Yes, it doesn't help my Christian life. I'm off.
But you see, let me just introduce a thought here. Most of these things, they don't actually start in pages
way.
where, yes, you get everything so explicit and people are coming to make compromising
Like he was
conversation
saying.
and everything. Sometimes it is somebody actually picking on you because you're a nice person. You come across as wise. You come across as being smart and intelligent. And wow, look at this young lady and look at all the kind of things that she's always saying. Like, she's deep. So then a person DMs you or private mails you, and then the conversation starts. It started on the basis of pure platonic relationship. But you see, some people feed on the brains of other people, sapiosexuals, as we call them. You know, your intelligence, your intellectual prowess turns them on. Okay, so then assuming you were dealing with a guy who is like 40 years, you're a 27-year-old girl, and then you're looking for a mentor, you're looking for business connections, you're looking for somebody to actually help you put your life on a proper route, and then you find this person, so the conversation graduates from there. And then, because at 40 years, probably she's been married for, let's say, 10 years, there is a plateau in their marriage, he's getting bored at home, and then this girl always presents a new perspective to life and everything. There is that emotional connection that develops. And most often that is how it goes out. We have those who are like, they come with an agenda, straight to the point. But mostly when you have the married people, usually that's how it starts. For instance, the women who are like not so sexually gratified at home, you understand, or like sexually excited at home, they find that there is a drag, there is a boredom in their marriage. And these are usually women who have been around prior to marrying their spouses. So they have a basis for comparison.
Not so much.
Okay.
Right now, I remember in one of the groups, a lady came out and was saying that she was a virgin when she got married. But then just realized that a lot of the ladies kept on talking about orgasm.
And she hasn't had one.
So she didn't understand what the orgasm meant.
Right.
And now all of us started, sending YouTube links explaining what an orgasm is.
That's how I will volunteer to be a guy.
Okay, but thankfully it was in an all-women's group. Okay, and now she had her eyes opened as to what she was lacking at home. And I remember
hungry.
the sort of comments that came out with other women telling her, then it means that your husband isn't doing XYZ. So which means that now
she's vulnerable
Yes.
to anybody who just makes some of these suggestions. Okay,
And
I know
she's become
somebody.
curious.
I know somebody.
Very
so
curious.
so this is I'm going to change so many things in it. But I know somebody who said I'd been married for X number of years. I have this number of kids, and then apparently I didn't know. So we've been having
And
problems.
the person said all of this in a group.
No. It was personal to me, and it wasn't in counseling, so I can say it. If it was in counseling, then
Yeah, it's
non-disclosure.
confidential,
But
yeah.
it wasn't in counseling, so it was just a regular conversation. And the person was telling me that and then we had problems, so we had separated. So I was living in a different house. My husband was in a different place for a while, and then I traveled, and I think I met this guy. It was all nice, and stuff happened, and then I had an orgasm. Then I realized that, damn, I've been struggling. I've been married for all these years, and I've
What
never
you don't know will
experienced.
kill you.
Exactly. So then the person says that she said that, well, so when I came back, I just quickly facilitated the divorce.
Cho.
Yes, because we had been separated, we've been struggling, but now I know that actually it wasn't just our
yeah,
attitude.
the
that
power of
was
an
a
orgasm.
problem.
You
But-
can't blame her.
There's this
You
lady
see.
who wrote in
We will go into orgasms
you,
today.
Nanama advises you. There's this lady who wrote that, listen, she had been married for several years and they divorced and she remarried. Then she realized that, so I've been married for 20 years plus and I didn't know that Sena Bibi Wahosa. And she felt so peeved that Papa had me above for 20 years.
She should return them.
So with what you and PG have said, now let's come back to Ama's story. So it's likely, more than likely, that within the group that she's in, there have been conversations that she's realized that she's lacking something in her marriage. And this, because she's saying that it keeps her sane and all that, meaning that, okay, so let's say today, around this time, somebody will probably post that, oh, I'm on my way to my man's house, and when I get there, if you know, you know. Now, she's at home. She's not getting any. Maybe hasn't gotten any for about 3 days. But there's somebody saying that I'm on my way to get some. Now, a married woman facing a whole lot of issues, especially when it comes to non-sexual gratification, will get a form of gratification from such groups. Because
are we trying to say that most married women who are
some,
on these groups
some
are not happy? Don't you have people who are very happy, happily married?
Of course.
So
of course.
It could be that, she's just addicted and it's not like they're having like serious issues. Could be.
But you see, the thing is that now, if I'm happily married,
it's a possibility.
A possibility. But you see, the question is, if I'm happily married, okay, around that time, why was I giggling? Why am I saying, and why did Amma say that, it keeps her sane and all that?
And by the way, she was watching explicit material at that time.
Exactly. Yeah. So you will be excited.
You understand? But then she was saying that those explicit material were filling in a lull. You understand? They were filling in a vacuum. There was something that she needed, which wasn't getting at home, that social media was giving her, that group was giving her. And yes, I know that a lot of, so me, I'm speaking as an admin. I know that a lot of the groups that I've created have helped people, have helped them in their homes.
Relationships, yeah.
Because, somebody will come and they'll say that, okay, my husband is so strict when it comes to certain things. I don't even know how to talk to him about the fact that this particular style doesn't satisfy me. Then you get people come out and they say that, okay, tell him this way, but then be careful how you tell him, otherwise he might get.
You are cheating.
Which of the groups are you going to put me on?
Adam, let me.
Charlie, ignorance is bliss.
They'll suck me in.
Ignorance is bliss. Sit in your small corner.
Adam, let me say something. You see, in these platforms, it's also knowledge sharing.
Yes,
trust me, it's not always bad. But you see, like somebody will say, we fancy to say, baby, nyanko pon obonapis, on a bonsam so to know.
We have a lot of people
so
joining
there's a
us.
good side, and then
there's
there's a bad side.
Okay.
Yes.
We have people joining us on Facebook. So I'll just share some of the messages. They're watching us live, actually. Somebody just simply says, Someone says, Renee Akuafedo says, PG no. Mariano says, I'm feeling you, my TD lady.
Oh, Marian.
Is that you?
Yes.
Renee again says, Abnama, just tell the house what we do on WTW.
No.
Charles Bliss Lebanon says, hey Abna, I'm enjoying the show, but don't tell them everything. Why? Some information is very classified, as I can see.
Yes.
Adam, this social media thing is really causing trouble in marriages. Our wives spend a lot of time on social media. Sometimes while you are in the house wanting to be close with her, she's busy chatting on the social media and laughing while you, the husband, you're there feeling bored. I just advise Amma and others to stop spending more time with other people on social media. It really irritates. I think the lady should exit that particular group for now and discuss the issues with her husband. This WhatsApp group thing, yeah? Renee says, I'm with you on this one. It's not, then someone comes in to say, it's not easy. Someone says, let's know some of the groups to join. People are having issues. You want to join yourself inside?
Curiosity killed the cat. They want to see what is happening there.
You see, when it comes to the chats and the groups, I think that, generally, every couple need to find a framework within which to operate. I always tell my wife that if by 10 p.m. the two of us are on WhatsApp chatting, it's literally like 10 p.m. having somebody standing in your bedroom visiting you. Okay, and we should try and ask ourselves that question: that would you want a random person to be in your bedroom at 10 p.m.? So that is where we begin, and then we draw the line. So at certain hours of the day, if it is not a family conversation, and even for family, it has to be urgent. Otherwise, let's make time for ourselves, okay? Because it's very difficult for me to understand that you are lying next to your spouse on a bed and you're actually talking to somebody else.
Charlie. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
But let me remind us that mealtime for babies has become delicious with Yum Vita. Yum Vita is packed with 16 essential vitamins and minerals, and it's so easy to digest. Yum Vita instant cereal has omega-3 to aid in the healthy development of your child's brains. Yum Vita comes in 3 delicious flavors: wheat, maize, and wheat and rice. So go on and give baby variety. Yum Vita, a delicious way to grow. And mothers indeed want to feel appreciated and fulfill their traditional role as nurturers by preparing tasty meals that their families enjoy. That's why they need Onga, Mama's helping hand. Onga provides Mama with a superior taste, aroma, and flavor enhancing ingredients that ensures that she's appreciated by the family. Onga has a concentrated level of flavor, aroma, and taste, and therefore requires a small amount of seasoning to achieve great results. Onga is extremely quick, easy, and convenient to use. Onga, Mama's helping hand. And don't miss an opportunity to be inspired, motivated, and to network with over 2,000 global leaders at the plush MGM Grand Hotel in Las Vegas. You can join Emma Morrison, Group Head of Business Programming, for the Women's Leadership Conference in Las Vegas with Adansi Travel. The conference, which promotes women's personal and professional development and advancement, is scheduled for August 4 to 8, 2019 in Las Vegas. For U.S. visa holders, it's $1,590, and for non-U.S. visa holders, it's $1,950. This is exclusive of flights. Deadline is 30th of May 2019. Contact Adanse on 055631 0404 or 0243 60 66 48 for registration and travel arrangements. And again, mothers want to feel appreciated, and that's why they use Onga. Onga provides Mama with a superior taste, aroma, and flavor-enhancing ingredients that ensures that she is appreciated by the family. Onga has a concentrated level of flavor, aroma, and taste, and therefore requires a small amount of seasoning to achieve great results. Onga is extremely quick, easy, and convenient to use. Onga is Mama's helping hand. And if you're looking for a delicious way for baby to grow, then I recommend Yum Vita to you. Mealtime for babies has become delicious with the Yum Vita. Yum Vita is packed with 16 essential vitamins and minerals, and it's so easy to digest. Yum Vita infant cereal has omega-3 to aid in the healthy development of your child's brains. Yum Vita comes in 3 delicious flavors: wheat, maize, and wheat and rice. So go on and give baby variety. Yum Vita, a delicious way to grow. Let me activate the phone lines on 0302216541. So what is it? I mean, don't we have men who also have issues in some of these groups?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do that because it's
Oh, of
like,
course.
I mean, someone sent a message. Oh, where is my phone?
Isn't it up there? Oh, yeah.
No,
Okay.
not this one. I think it's with Dennis. Okay, yeah, it's here.
Okay.
The person sent a very interesting message. Oh, please don't call my line now. The person says that, okay, his wife belongs to one of these groups. It's a school group. It's an all-girls school. And then they have the male,
Right.
you know, the girls' school, they have
Mhm.
their boys.
Yes.
Right.
So they have grown with the boys.
Mhm.
And I'm trying to look for the message so I don't mess it up. And she says it's crazy the things they chat about, and they've even given them like cyber husbands amongst themselves, and all of these are going on, you know. So It looks like it's crazier than I thought.
Yep.
You know, it's crazier than I thought, because if people have to deal with all of these things, then I'm also realizing that PG and Kobe, for instance, you've been here a couple of times, we've discussed issues, problems. I'm just realizing that this could be the foundation of most of the challenges.
But we spoke
Exactly.
about several times here
Exactly.
that, you see, when people have issues at home, they find avenues
Yep.
to vent.
Okay,
So when she says that it keeps her sane, obviously it is symptomatic that there is a certain
a
kind of
problem.
problem. Is that the right solution?
Solution right.
It is most likely compounding the problem.
Uh-huh.
And that is the reason why the guy said, you know what, exit all of them.
Yeah. You know, the thing with some of these connectivities or social connectivity is that it makes us play the ostrich with our marital problems.
Yes.
Our heads are buried. We don't see anything else again. So then, assuming you didn't have any of these things, you didn't have any of these respite, then you are forced to have a
confront your
conversation.
issues.
But then once you are easily distracted, it's just
Then-
like you have an office boyfriend or office girlfriend. You have a problem with your wife. You come home, you can't wait for the morning to come for you to
Is
get
it
up
go
your
to
things and
work?
go to work.
Let me
You
talk
understand?
to Adole.
Uh-huh.
Hello, Adole.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, great. Today, all my callers have 30 seconds.
Okay. It's a great program and a very important topic we are discussing. My little contribution is that the lady should exit the group, and then I also want the husband to do same, because I believe he may be on some platforms like that.
All right.
It's not healthy for a relationship. My advice is that if you are listening in and you're on a group where you do the explicit stuff, despite the fact that sometimes we like to learn, if it's too much, just do the needful, exit,
Alright.
and then you have peace in your home.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So it's more like what is good for the goose.
It's
is
also-
good
And I find the guy to be quite funny. He says that no, I am not vulnerable,
Yeah,
but
he's the
you
man.
are. Which I find subtly condescending and manipulative. What do you mean by
That's exactly what the
You are
woman
not
is saying.
vulnerable.
exactly? What do you
Yes.
mean by you're not vulnerable? Because some of these
He's the
things,
man.
yes, well, that throws in the whole question of men think that they are better, they are wiser and everything. But you see, we are all vulnerable when it comes to some of these things. And trust me, I think that sometimes the men are more vulnerable because the men can actually be the predators, and then they sometimes they think they're the predators, but actually the women are the predators, and they throw the bait and they catch it, thinking that we are determining the pace of what is
Exactly.
happening, but actually the woman is
Exactly.
controlling it, and she's been controlling all this while. So
Yesterday,
the man is as vulnerable as his wife.
when we started this conversation, I mean, we've had this conversation already. I mean, at work, one of my colleagues said, "This woman, she's lucky. They just told you to exit the group, and you are there doing like, I mean, he thinks that the man is so lenient. All he's asking you is exit the groups. Really?
Yeah, that's why I was saying that he had the phone with him. He could have easily exited
You
the
would
group.
have exited for her and smashed the phone, so you even have
You
the-
understand?
You
Okay,
go and
you
get
could
a new
have done
phone
that.
and start all over again.
Okay, and then that's where the compromise that I said initially comes in, and based on the reason why that group was set in. Okay, he could either join the group too, so that he knows what's going on there, but then she would have the job to make sure that she goes and deletes any post or comment in which she spoke about something that if he
What
ever
kind of work
reads.
is that?
Exactly.
It's a big job, but then I mean, you see, there are groups whereby you can have, no matter how explicit or no matter how fun or whatever the group is, both of them are in that group. So that lets you know that, okay, either of them can read the other's message. So there is no need explaining why I made this post or whatever, because you've read it. We can even have a conversation at home before I make this particular post or before I make this particular comment. Now, me being married and my spouse not knowing who I am means that I'm being secretive, means that there is a reason why I don't want my spouse to know. Now, if my spouse gets to know and it will create issues, then that means that there is something that I need to resolve at home that I have yet to.
Wow.
Hello?
Hi, Ajuman. Sorry for holding you on. Sorry.
Hey, madam.
Ajuman, how are you?
I'm very fine. I hope you're also doing
I
well.
am well, thank you, Your Honor.
All I can say is about 80% of these groups doesn't discuss anything better that will help one's marriage. And you won't even get time for your partner. Yesterday, for instance, I was working and I was busy. I couldn't answer a WhatsApp messages. And I have only two WhatsApp groups. So when I go home, I had about 185 messages unread. So supposing I have my wife with me and we need to discuss something important, how can I answer this message? I was once having a certain girlfriend. The woman, she comes to me. I said, "Brah, put the phone down because I'm here." Even forgetting that I have family. So I think these groups are not going to help because if you have something to discuss, it should be your partner. That's it.
189, dear, you have done well. Come and see my 999. I'm telling you, we can't keep up.
I know that, my ladies will feel that Abner, I'm not speaking on their behalf, but I would stress on this. When you are married, the things that you were doing when you were single, please, if you know that they're going to create issues, you just make sure that they don't create those issues. Don't create issues whereby now you are coming to, have to explain yourself, and they could just end up affecting your marriage.
Right.
Exactly.
Let me speak to Dorothy. Dorothy, you'll be our last caller for this morning. I am hoping that, they will be available maybe next week. So, because I still have a few questions I want to ask. I'm very curious. Hi, Dorothy.
Hi, Adam.
Okay, great, you're here.
Now, I think with this social media issue, sometimes some of the women, they take to that to find solace there. Because here you have a man who always comes home, is on his phone, or he doesn't even come home early. So most women turn to the social media just to keep them company. Now the man has finished whatever he's doing. Now he wants your attention. You are also glued to that thing. And now most of the men also do it. So it's not an issue with only the women. Let's balance it a little bit here, because there are some men, when they come home, they are always on their phone chatting with whoever they are chatting with. And then when they finish, and then you are on your phone, then it looks like, oh, you don't make time for me. So that issue of social media, I think, is really affecting relationships and marriages.
Thank you very much, Dorothy. Wow.
And one thing that I also believe in is that, just as PG was saying, that he has instituted this with his wife, that after 10 p.m., don't be on WhatsApp. You could also decide on your own that, okay, around this time, I wouldn't be online. I wouldn't be in my groups. So you could decide that, okay, even if you're on Facebook, you only post on your wall, and then try to avoid the groups. Because one thing about the groups is that as soon as you enter this group, post 1, comment, post 2, comment, you are whiling away time. Before you realize 2 hours is gone. So you could then decide that, okay, I'm going to just focus on my wall or just a few other pages, and then after that, I'm done. Try as much as possible. And I know that people try. Yeah, I will.
Okay, great. Let me read a few of the messages I have, because I want to, I think Kobe will also be interested in knowing like some of the things that's really happening in these groups. Somebody just said you should tell us what happens in WTW, and you said no. Renee, next week.
No.
Don't worry.
Adam, don't do that.
Oh no! You see,
No small business.
it's not spoiling business. We need to know, so that when you are getting in there, you should know that these things can happen. You don't just, somebody just called and said nothing better happens. He just wrote everything off. Good morning, Adam. I decided to go off social media for 2 years. I resolved to using a yam just to let my wife know I don't have a fling with anyone. I realized my wife was getting jealous.
Well done.
Is that the way to go?
I mean, if it works for you.
Is that the way to go? Oh, why did you say Abner?
It works for you.
This one says, great show, Adam. Social media and social engineering is tearing the very fabric of our society. However, it is a necessary evil. The internet doesn't sleep, neither does it forgive nor forget. This is from the radical, what's that? Renegade. Accra. Okay. Okay. Someone says, Adam, I don't believe what the lady is saying about WhatsApp groups. What about people in the group discussing marriages, etc.? I'm married and use social media a lot. My wife too uses it. We never have fight. It seems ladies in Ghana have to learn how to use social media. My wife knows my phone is my privacy. From Eric. Hey, Eric.
So I wonder what you do on that phone of yours.
Yes, that's so private. and
Well, that's interesting.
she knows that your phone is your privacy. Hey, it's quite interesting how we use these technological advancements. In as much as they can improve on our livelihood, we can also make them agents of all the negative things one can think of. I sincerely believe that this couple have their own challenges, and social media has become a sanctuary for the wife to escape from the reality. My regards to Abina and PJ. Okay.
Hi.
Okay, so we're touching down now, like today, this is where we're ending it. But next week, we're also interested in some of the things that happen. So that if you're getting in there, I'm sure even this conversation is making people want to join to see what really is happening there.
By now, somebody is searching that place you mentioned. WTW.
They can't find it.
They will be looking for it somewhere.
But would you agree that, I mean, some homes have also broken down because of some of these things?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay. So we still have a lot of conversations to have.
Yes.
So that when you're doing it, you know that it's not all blissful. It's destroyed people's homes. I mean, we won't be talking about like specific homes, but how, I mean, it's evolved in people's homes. So we'd like to know so that we know
how to avoid them.
Exactly.
Okay.
So that will be the focus for next week.
Okay.
But thank you for coming.
Thank
I have
you
been
too.
very educated, and I've been out, And to Food 101, thank you very much for bringing us breakfast. Amma and the team, thank you. The mothers also enjoyed your treats last weekend. And to Nicolina of Millennium Insurance, thank you very much. Oh, Abu, what's your host? Okay, this is Ranzi Gardens Barbecue takeaway. If you want to order anything from there, you can call 054 194 9133. PG will bring you
a bill.
Yes. Okay, so we're out of here now. Thank you very much. Next week we'll come your way with another edition of Home Press.